Hey everybody, it's your friend Sarmate here, and we're back with another series of Kingdoms Reborn. They have just released a new patch as of today, and I just had to check it out. We've played this game a few times on the channel, and it's one that I really like. The new patch brought us a new faction called the Norsemen. Now, the Norsemen have a couple of faction buffs, and they are plus 20% cold resistance, plus 30% wood yield, and they come with two unique resources, honey mead and cheese. I've got the game loaded up, and we are now choosing a starting location for our town. So I got the world loaded up here, and we have all sorts of different continents around the world, of course. We have it currently set up to where the equator is where it's hottest. So, of course, in the middle of the planet. You can see here we have a couple AIs. We have 3. 1, 2, and 3. And now we have to pick where we want to build our first place. So what we want to look for is a couple of things. We want to be able to find coal and iron. You can see here, this is what the resource of this province yields. So this one is coal, and this is gold right here. So we got coal deposit there. So there's no iron over in this area. So we're going to keep looking. Up in here is where the AI is going to be building. So I kind of don't really want to be over there just because of that. And then this one's claimed by that AI, and this AI has this one. And this little island right up in here, I really like for a few reasons. So when we're looking for a place to build our town, we want to look for a few things. We want to look for that iron and that coal, like I mentioned, but we also want to look for rivers that are this dark blue color like this. That's a freshwater river, and that increases the fertility of the land around it. So it's a very important piece if you want to build farms, and farms are a huge part of this game. We have the coal and the iron that I was looking for, and there's also a trade good right here. So this is cannabis as a trade good. It's also a level 1 luxury good. So it's awesome. We want to have luxury goods to upgrade our housing. We also have tulips right in here. So a couple of good trade things that we can get into pretty early. So I'd like to get those. Unfortunately, that's the only trade goods on the island. There's a couple of gold spots up here, but we'll get to that way later. But I think I'm going to pick this area. I like this spot right here, the Forest Province. When you click on the provinces, it will give you a little breakdown of what's going on in that province. So you can see here fertility is 51%, so that's taking into account the entirety of the province. We have a temperature range of -10 to 28°C, that's 14 to 82 Fahrenheit. And then disease frequency is 1.0 per year. So something to keep in mind if you're going to be building in a more hotter region. So let's come over here. This is the equator. You can kind of see this, besides it being desert, this like savanna type texture here. So that means that we get to the jungle province once we get a little bit more over here. So something to look for, this is even flashing disease frequency of 3.0 per year. So this is going to increase your diseases big time. So you got to have your medicinal stuff ready to go when you get to that point. But we aren't going to have to worry about that for quite a while because I'm going to pick this province right here. Additionally, there's stone in here. That's another thing to be looking for. You'll see these little bits of stone lying around on the ground. You can zoom in here. We'll see what they look like. Of course, just rocks. That's going to be important until you can get a quarry. You can just pick that up, and then a quarry, of course, you can mine it. So we'll be able to hit these mountains up for some rocks. Base income of 18 gold, no defense bonus, and then a flat area of 1,800 tiles. So we're going to go ahead for 659 gold. We're going to get this going. So we have initial money of 2,300. So a couple things that you got to think about here. So initial resources are awesome. You have 6 additional storage spaces that you can allocate for this stuff, but you won't be able to expand your land without gold. So we are going to be constricted to this area until we are able to purchase another province. So we had 995 here, 905 on this side, and then 2,500 on this side. So something to keep in mind, if you want to expand, don't spend all your gold. But of course, this is a quick and easy way to get some beginning resources. So a couple of things that I would suggest here. A little bit of food is good. You got to have some wood to build stuff. A little bit of medicine is great. Well, really everything here is going to be important, of course, right? I'm going to leave it at 120 stone. We're going to start with 1,000 money. And let's go ahead and get it going. So here we go. The town hall on the bottom here is flashing. So the town hall is quite large. So we got to think about where we're going to build some stuff. The green rectangle on the left is the storage space. So keep that in mind while you're placing this, where you want to put your storage stuff. I think what we'll do is we'll put it on the north side, and I'm going to kind of tuck it in here as good as we can. I'm doing that because I don't want to go to the right because we're going to be using that area for farms. And then the left, I got to consider housing. So we're going to go ahead right here, and then we're going to pause the game right away. You have the ability to choose a starting card. So that's a feature of this game, is it's very card oriented. The three things here are trading post, investment, and miner's fortune. I'm going to go with investment, +1 income for every 20 you own. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. We have a couple of things here we can talk about with the UI. So instead of a timeline like we have with Settlement Survival, we have the text. So we have early spring, year 1. We got the current temperatures. This is your current money, and then this is the income. We have 10 adults, 5 kids, 15 population, but no housing space, and then storage slots, 9 out of 12. Happiness is 90. And then, of course, here's our resource breakdown. And you can see here, if we hover that, we have a nice graph that comes up right away. Okay, so let's get started here. So each house is worth 4 people. So we are going to go ahead and hit B to open up the build menu. And then here's house for H, so BH. So we're going to want to have 4 homes to get started here. A couple extra are not a bad idea, so I might do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 here. I'm going to put it back to back. Now, the reason why I'm leaving a space here is for in the future, I know that there's going to be an item called shrubbery. And what that does is going to increase the appeal of the area. So you can see there right now, the appeal is 89%. And we're going to want to increase that at some point. So we have plenty of room to put in some shrubberies. We got some room for some roads to tie in. So let's go ahead and do those roads. BZ is the hotkey combination for roads. I'm going to be using a lot of hotkeys in this playthrough because I like the hotkeys for Kingdoms Reborn and I know them. If I'm going too quick, let me know and I can explain it a little bit more. Okay, so we got our 4 houses. Let's get the game started. We're going to choose improved farming so that we have enough food going around. And then let's go ahead and build a couple more houses so that we have a little bit of extra room for some more people. Great, so we got 6 houses. Right over here, we have the name of the town. We'll need to come up with a better name than that. The total employment rate, laborers versus builders. So right now we have 10 adults. You can see we're using 5 as laborers and 5 as builders. I'm not sure what those other 5 are doing, but we are utilizing those people. And I will be referring to this a lot. It's a good quick way to check on the town and make sure that everything is going how we want it to go. Now that we have our town hall built, we can apply the investment. So we're gonna go ahead and click on this. It's gonna go into this slot right here. All right, and now we have to start building stuff, right? So we got the houses started, it's great. So we do have this build menu, right? And there's not a whole lot here. And that's because this game focuses a lot about cards. So there's everything that you are able to learn in a deck where you pull 5 cards for your hand every so often. So you can see here this number, 120 seconds until I get a new hand of 5 cards. Now this is kind of tedious in the beginning of the game, but eventually we'll be able to print cards, wild cards, and be able to build whatever we want as fast as we want. And we'll have tons of money to do it. It'll be great. So the first thing here, we want to get some food started, right? So we're going to go ahead and grab the hunting lodge and we'll get that built up. The hunting lodge has a limited range. Unlike Settlement Survival, where it's an infinite range, we have to consider the range of this hunting lodge. And in this particular case, the hunting lodge does not negatively affect the housing situation. There will be some buildings that we'll see shortly here that will affect the housing in a negative way. We're gonna go ahead and get our hunting lodge started. All right, while they're getting that hunting lodge built up, let's check out the tech trees. So there's a couple things up over in here. We have the Dark Age. We have foreign trade and basic medicine currently as things we can research. So we have 12 science points. This is going to cost 90 to do the basic medicine or 90 for foreign trade. So what we're gonna start with is the basic medicine. And you can see here, it's 21% completed. And this is an approximate time, 14 minutes. It depends on how quickly you have the game pace going right now. We're at 3 times the regular speed. So we're gonna go ahead and just let that go for a while. And we have our hunting lodge built. So we have the workers here, 2 out of 2. Efficiency of 100%. Job happiness is 70%. And we're currently not using any bonuses on our work mode. So we can use poison arrows, and this kills animals 4 times faster, but they get 50% less of a drop. That's horrible in my opinion. So we're gonna go for normal. The production per season, we got game meat, 99, leather, 52. You can set produce targets, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. And then each building individually has upgrades. So for now, I'm gonna just hold off on upgrading anything because of our limited resources. We have a couple more cards ready to go to draw, so we're gonna see what we can get into here. We have the fishing lodge, forester, hunting lodge, immigration office, and the fruit gatherer. So a couple good food things. Let's check our graph right now. So we are a little bit under producing food. So that one hunting lodge isn't quite enough. So what we're going to get into is the fruit gatherer. This thing's really great. So something you can do here, you can grab more than one card at a time. So we're going to grab 3 cards and we're going to go ahead and submit, and we'll just hold on to that for now. So we have the forester. This is of course going to get us some more wood, and that is going to be a very key piece, of course, in any city that has ever been created. So we're going to go ahead and plop that guy right there. And then we want our fruit gatherer, and this thing is going to benefit from trees and bushes around it. And you can see here, these orange circles, those are fruits inside the trees. So if we hit this, they light up, and you can see how many fruit tree counts there are around. I really like this. You can see how good it's going to be before you build it. We're going to go out right here and have 90. The last thing is the immigration office. So we're going to go ahead and grab that, and we'll get this thing started up. So put this guy right there. All right, the immigration office is good to go. You can see this little circle here is filling up. So once this completes, then we're going to get some more immigrants, and we'll be able to choose. If you don't have houses, they will be homeless. And if you can't build houses in time, you're going to lose those people. So we're just going to leave that for now. I don't want to go too wild on immigrants. We got to be able to make sure that we can handle the people that we already have. So we also got our fruit gatherer completed and our forester completed. So these together can kind of work in tandem. So we have the option with a forester to cut and plant, prioritize planting, and prioritize cutting. I'm going to leave it at cut and plant because we want the wood, but we also want the fruit trees. So we're going to prioritize planting fruit trees, but we're going to cut any trees. So the fruit trees are going to be taken down, but they're also going to be replaced more often than not. So that's how we're going to set that up for the beginning. Once we let that go for a while, we can double check our food and we'll see how we're doing with that. Now the cold is on the way, so we are going to have to use some wood to create some charcoal. So let's see if we can get lucky here and get the charcoal burner. There it is. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. I'm also going to grab the stone tool shop and also the quarry. Well, of course, we need everything in the beginning, right? We're going to go ahead and grab the charcoal burner, and I'm going to get this thing over in here. But notice, if I was to put this over in here, it puts a red smiley face on the houses. So we don't want that. We're going to keep that away from the houses. So we're going to go ahead and plop that right in there. Something else that's kind of nice now that we have a couple buildings up, you can click on the houses and you can see where the people work compared to where they live. So if you click on this house, they work at this building and this building. Just like this, you can see where they work. I really like that. You can kind of see the efficiency a little bit better of where your people are. So once that's getting built up, let's go ahead and grab our stone tool shop. I'm probably not going to utilize this right away. We do have a decent amount of tools stored up. We're at 162, but we are going to put it in. So we're ready for when we need them, because we will need them pretty soon. So we'll get that guy right there. And then we have our quarry finally. So let's go ahead and we'll find a spot. You have to be against a mountain. See, I can't place this here, but let's go ahead and tuck this guy in right there. Excellent. All right, we just unlocked upgrade points to upgrade buildings. Increase your population to gain more. Okay, awesome. And we also completed the medicinal herb seeds. So we're going to go ahead and get those farms built up here in just a moment. With the upgrade points, if we click on our charcoal burner here, you can see that not only does it cost 58 stone to upgrade this, it also costs 1 upgrade point. So that's what these guys are going to be utilized for. And it looks like we are hurting pretty badly for wood. So let's go ahead and grab the medicinal herb seeds. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to use those seeds in your farms. I'll show you how to do that. We also unlocked farms as well. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and gather non-fruit trees around the town here, just so we have a little bit more of supplemental wood coming in, because we are needing it for the wintertime here to make some charcoal. Lots of trees over in here, so we're going to go ahead and get those gathered up. BF, build farm. So here is a fertility layout of the land here. So the yellow here is at 90%, you can see. If we go up here, this would be 100, and then over here on this side, 51. Not great. So we, of course, want to utilize as much fertility as we can. And the way that I like to build my farms is if we click and drag here to build one, you can see that we have the fertility, of course. We have the farm size, the area, and the workers, and then the cost. So if you drag this down, you'll see that the workers change. So you get an idea of how many workers will be utilized in that farm. So what I like to do is once we hit that next level of workers. So we're currently at 1. Now we're at 2. I'm not going to go any further. I want to go right into 2, So what this seems to do is make sure that we have enough efficiency of those 2 workers on the area farmed. Where I've noticed that we've been able to gather enough of the goods without losing stuff to winter, and I really like this method. I think it works pretty well. You can only have maximum of 5 queued card hands. So we're going to go ahead and not show this again. 3 immigrants wish to join our city. We're going to accept them, but look at this, 24 to 24. We are going to need to build some houses pretty quickly. Now there's a couple of buffs that you can get, just like your city slot. We have these options for the sustainability, productivity, and frugality books. You can see there what each one of them does. We are going to go ahead and grab the sustainability, consume 30% less input, and what I would like to do is put this in a charcoal farm. Our labor account is now 0. Every citizen is employed in a building. There is no free labor left to haul and gather resources full time. So we have made a mistake here already. Hopefully with these 3 new people, we'll be able to handle it. But we have 13 out of 13, and now we have 3 laborers. So you want to keep laborers running around your town, just like in Settlement Survival. You don't want to assign everybody away. Let's go ahead and grab the motivation here. And we're going to go ahead and buff our charcoal burner with the sustainability. And then we're going to go ahead and do motivation for extra productivity. Every 1% happiness above 60 gives +1 productivity. We're currently at 76, +16 productivity. We're going to go ahead and put that in there and make sure that our charcoal burner is providing us enough coal, which it is, for the winter time. So that's great that we figured that one out. So our farm is built, and we can see here we got our 2 workers. Fertility overall is 89%. Efficiency is 148%, and then the happiness is 70%. Currently seeding the farm, there's no growth percentage. And then here's where we would choose which seed we'd like to use. We only have the medicinal herbs, so that's the only food. So that's the only thing that we can grow right now. Crop yield of 94%, and then fertility dependence is 90%. So certain things are going to be more worried about their fertility than others things. So we're going to go ahead and let that go. You can see we have medicine over here on the left. We're consuming 30, producing nothing. What you can do is refine the medicinal herbs into medicine. The refined medicine is better, but for a while now we're going to have to be using the medicinal herbs, and it will do us just fine. So let's get a couple more houses built up because we are in need of them. BH again for the hotkey for homes. Okay, a couple more homes on the way. That'll be great. It looks like we're going to need more than 2, so we have to find some more spaces for those houses. So let's go ahead and put a couple more on this side. We may need to adjust these houses later to utilize the farm space as good as possible. We are now currently storage full. So we have our storage yards right here, and it looks like we need to add a couple more. So BY for storage yards, and we're going to go ahead and find a decent spot for this. I like to utilize little nooks and crannies like right in here. So we're going to go ahead and do that with this. And you can see here we're all green, so we'll be able to do that. If you go like this, that white square on the right, that is not going to build anything there. So you want to make sure that this is all green. Additionally, I would like to go in the other direction. So let's see if we can build a couple more storage yards up this way. It looks like we can do a little bit more. So we'll fill that little area in. Lots of storage areas. Now, we didn't build those houses fast enough, so we lost a couple people. We are now underneath our housing space, which is excellent. I am going to stop our immigration office for now. We got to make sure that we have enough food going. Looks like we are not anywhere close to having enough food, so we have to figure that out pretty quickly here. Let's go ahead and find a fishing dock. We got some fishing lodges right here. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and grab one of those, and we got to find a good spot for it. And you can see here we have the efficiency of how good the dock will be once it's completed, just like the fruit trees. So we're going to go ahead and find a good spot. This will work just fine right there. We had that little ship that came up, and we are able to trade with them. So currently, we don't need leather. So we're going to sell some of this leather. We're going to go -80, and I picked 80 because that's the quantity. You can see here we're going to get 967, but there's a fee, so we're going to come home with 628 golds. So great, now we have a little bit more gold. That is reflected up here. But alas, our fishing lodge is out of wood, so we have to figure that out. So what we can do, we have a couple options. We are doing pretty well with gold right now. So let's go ahead and expand a little bit here. So we have 905 and 955. It looks like this is a jungle tile, so we need to be wary of that. Remember I mentioned the disease frequency. You want to keep that in mind. I'm going to not grab the jungle tile here because of that disease frequency. However, we are getting a little bit tight for space on our housing. Let's go ahead and we'll grab the forest province right here, and we'll go ahead and claim. We unlocked the iron mine because we have the iron deposit there. Excellent. We aren't going to buy it at this time, but now we have tons of trees that we have over here. So of course, our forester is now going to have access to those, but I would also like to gather the non-fruit trees. We're going to go ahead and mark quite a few and get some of our laborers up there to get those picked up. Currently 11 laborers, so we got the labor situation fixed pretty quickly, which is excellent. And I think this is a good spot for us to call our first episode of Kingdoms Reborn, the Norseman edition. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you're excited about Kingdoms Reborn's new Norseman patch, just like I am. Have a fantastic and amazing rest of your evening, day, or night, and I'll talk to you again soon.